Hello and welcome back to Classic Times. Today I'll be covering stage 35 of the Cambridge Latin course, and I'll be covering the topic of indirect statements. Okay, let's begin. Indirect statements. So firstly, what is an indirect statement? Well, an indirect statement is where it is written that something has been stated, but the statement itself is not directly said. So, it is reported speech. All indirect statements contain an introductory verb, which we'll have a look at on the following slide, a noun in the accusative case, and a verb in the infinitive form. And the Latin construction is a main verb plus the accusative plus the infinitive. And finally, when translated into English, all indirect statements must contain the word that. So now let's have a look at the aforementioned introductory verbs. Audire, to hear. Credere, to believe. Dicere, to say. Nescire, not to know. Putare, to think. And scire, to know. So that is the list of the common introductory verbs, although there are others, but you are likely to come across these ones the most. And finally, before we move on to the vocab, let's compare direct and indirect statements. Captivi dormient, the prisoners are asleep. Senex ambulat, the old man is walking. So both of these examples are ordinary direct statements, where something is being said or stated. So both of these are in direct speech. And on the right hand side, puto captivos dormire, I think that the prisoners are asleep. Centurio dicit senem ambulare, the centurion says that the old man is walking. Both of these examples are in indirect statements, where it is written that something has been stated, but that statement is not directly said. So those examples on the right are in reported speech. So hopefully that clarifies the differences. And just to finally summarise, you're looking out for three things in an indirect statement: the introductory verb, which we've looked at, the accusative noun, and an infinitive. So that's indirect statements covered, but if you'd like to go back over indirect questions, then tap on the pop-out banner in the top right of your screen to watch my video on stage 25. And finally, if you'd like to go back over indirect commands, then tap on the top right now for my video on stage 27. But that's enough plugging. On with the vocab. Ager is a field. An means or. Outram an, weather or. Carmen is a song. Cawere, to beware. Culpare, to blame. Inde, then. Magis, more. Male, badly or unfavourably. Morari, to delay. Molto, much. Nusquam, nowhere. quando, when, quidem, indeed, quotiens, whenever, Rus is the countryside, and finally simul means at the same time. So now that you're familiar with how they work, let's have a look at a few examples of indirect statements. Scimus glabrionem valde occupatum esse. We know that Glabrio is very busy. Dicit Domitianum in aula habitare. He says that Domitian is living in the palace. Centurio dicit captivos in carcere dormire. The centurion says that the prisoners are sleeping in the prison. And you'll notice in each one of these sentences, the English translation includes the word that. And you'll also notice that I've colour-coded the main three components of an indirect statement, and the key is in the top right of this screen. Okay, so now I would like you to pause the video and have a go at these sentences. So now, let's go through the answers. Audio lupum in villa rustica habitare. I hear that Lupus is living in the country house. Credo servos cibum parare. I believe that the slaves are preparing the food. Scimus milites nostros semper fortiter pugnare. We know that our soldiers always fight bravely. And again, you'll notice that each sentence includes the word that, which signifies the indirect statement. So if you manage to achieve 3 out of 3, I am really impressed. That is an excellent score. If you manage to achieve 2 marks out of 3, that is still a really good effort. Keep up the work. And if you've only managed to score 1 out of 3, then try not to worry. This is a new topic, and understandably, you may find it challenging at first, but stick with it. So we've now covered stage 35 of the CLC. So let's summarise. Indirect statements are statements where it is written that something has been said, but the statement itself is not directly said, so it is reported speech, as opposed to direct speech. And the 3 things to look out for in the Latin are an introductory verb, an accusative noun, and an infinitive. And finally, just remember to include the word that when translating an indirect statement. So thanks for watching, and join me in my next video where I'll be covering stage 36 of the Cambridge Latin course.